Hi guys, welcome to my podcast, Love Your Repeat. I actually just bought myself a pair of custom Converse for my birthday, and I'll show you them in 1 second. Hold on. These are them, and I think they're really cute. Love, heal, repeat. I got these All-Star runners for Christmas, a pair, and I absolutely loved the way that they fit, and I stand all day, so I need comfortable shoes, and they're perfect. So I got myself a custom pair, and I love them, and they're great. And cheerio, here we are. I recently started watching The Crown, which I think is interesting. This has nothing to do with this video, but I said cheerio, and it made me think of it, and then I paused, and I was like, should I mention it? Should I not? But here we are. Here I am mentioning it. Let's get into today's video. We're kind of talking about time, also about perception, and we're just going to see what else comes out. So recently, 111 on the timer, I've been feeling so disconnected, and I've been comparing myself and my efforts to myself from 2 years ago or a year ago. And I've noticed how much I'm not doing anymore. Like 2 years ago, I was more aligned with more aligned astrologically, and I knew what was happening. I knew what planets were going retrograde. I knew what it meant. I was more like, oh, my tarot readings on TikTok, and I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to give up TikTok, is because I was like, part of me was like, oh, the algorithm is going to bring me the videos I need to see. And I still partly believe that, but I'm not on social media anymore. I limit myself. I really try not to go on the shorts on here. Sometimes I just need a little dopamine hit, and so I do it, but I really, there's so many other things I could be doing with my time that are actually beneficial, like studying one of the million things I want to learn. Well, that's going off topic. So I've felt very disconnected, and it's kind of been weird. And I want to get back into it, but there's so much I want to learn, and especially having a niece now, I started learning French about 2 years ago. I cannot speak it fluently, obviously not. I can barely hold a conversation. I really don't know that much. And I honestly haven't practiced it since November of 2024. It's now March 2025. And at first I felt bad about it, and then I was like, you know what, it's okay, just let it go. It was something you really enjoyed learning then, but it became more of a chore. And so it's okay, if you're hesitant towards it, you probably just don't want to do it. And I was kind of figuring out why am I hesitant towards it, but also not figuring it out because I haven't figured anything out regarding that. I don't know if I don't want to learn it anymore or whatnot. But having a niece, I'm I want to be bilingual for her so that I can teach her another language, because I so badly wish I grew up bilingual, because trying to learn a language later in life takes so much effort. And once you're out of school, you're I just don't care anymore. I don't want to put in the effort for this. Oh. So here I am. And yeah, I want to it's crazy how having a kid in the family, or having a kid yourself, really makes you want to step up in life. And there was something that I was gonna say regarding learning another language, I think. And it came to me, and I was like, yes, I finally know a chore. Okay, there it is. Recently, I'm going to come back to chore, but recently, I'm talking a lot very fast, and so I'm a bit tired. Fuck. Hold on. Excuse my language. Recently, for like the last month or so, maybe even longer, for the last 2 months, I have felt very much blocked. Like there hasn't been enough time for me in the week for me to be so connected to source or whatever, or be more in tune. And I have way less to talk about. And I've noticed this, like, and I guess it is because I am less in tune and less connected to the earth and what's going on with our planets and all of that. But I feel like it's been like I'm really, really digging hard to try to find something to talk about for my episodes. And I really hate that because there's so much going on in my brain. Like, why can't I just pick some, like, why is nothing popping up to me? Why do I feel blocked in this way? So I guess I have to hope for an answer, try to find an answer, which is also a lot of work. And I think I'm just overwhelmed right now with how much I want to do and how little time I have, and also like picking a career and like doing all this. And I think, wow, what a pleasure it is to have children. But do you really want to raise them in a world where they have to think about having a job and working for the rest of their life and having a career and all of that, like, and school and stress? Like, do we really want that for our children? Yes, you want them to have education, but damn, like, fuck, it kind of sucks. Also, speaking about life, I will go into chores, what I wanted to do, which has to do with this perspective-wise. Like, being also disconnected, I've felt like life is mundane. Like 2 years ago, staring up at my palm trees and watching the sun glitter off the leaf and like shine in the sun, I was like, wow, that's so beautiful. And I felt like I was filled with more love and excitement and just joy than I am today. And yes, I still appreciate a beautiful sunset, but I don't feel like I have time to really sit down and feel it in my body. Like, I feel like I'm not fully feeling what I used to feel, or I'm not feeling the beautiful feeling that it is. Like, when I watch a beautiful sunset, it brings me so much peace, but there's a part of me where it's like I don't feel that in my body. Like, I think I feel like it's calming my mind, but I don't feel excitement or joy in my body. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling it, but I'm not fully embodying that feeling. And I don't like that because I appreciate a sunset so much. And I want to. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. And what's going on with that? Because I wouldn't label myself depressed at this moment. 8:11 on the timer. Yep. I have an inside joke with my dad. I see 8:11 a lot. And he's like, you're just making this up. And I'm not. So it's following me around, bro. Which goes to show, the more you think about something, the more you repeat something, the more it's going to come up. So be careful with what you're thinking. And going into chores, which is what I wanted to talk about in this video. I signed up for a newsletter. I have an astrological newsletter. But I haven't read it in a while because it's felt like a chore. I signed up for Business and Finance 1440. It's a free newsletter. Hardly read it because it becomes a chore. The things that I once had nothing. I had no notifications on my phone. Now I have so many, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much to do. And what I'm telling myself now is, a couple of years ago, you wished for this. You wished you had these hobbies. You wished you had more knowledge. You wished you didn't have a dry phone. Now you don't. So that's one way to look at it is you wished for this and now you have it. And two, which is kind of like a add-on to that, is it's not a chore. Like, you asked for this. You signed up for this newsletter because you genuinely wanted to learn and because it excited you. So don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as, oh my God, I get to learn right now. Like, this is something I'm interested in learning about. Let's learn. Let's fucking go. You know? Like it's perspective. So I'm trying to recoup. Maybe I just need to like cleanse my space. I started playing beach tennis, which is really fun, but I haven't like been stretching. I haven't really been doing anything for my mind. I have so many books around me that I want to read, and I have finance classes that I want to finish that I signed up for that I need to finish. And I want to journal more, and I want to be more connected. I just feel like there's not enough time, which is ridiculous. Like, it's kind of crazy when time is made up just to give us sanity and for memory, I guess. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I also, and I don't know if I'm going to talk about this again in another video. I may or may not. I may or may not make an entire video about this, but I wanted to briefly, we'll see where this goes, briefly touch on what's considered classy. So growing up, my grandmother's Austrian, my mom's side, and it's pretty traditional, and like class has always been a word. It's always been in our vocabulary, and that's how you dress and how you act, like your appearance in that sense. And tattoos and piercings are sort of frowned upon tattoos more than piercings. And so I guess it's still hard for me to like level with the fact that I grew up in a household that says tattoos are trashy, to now having so many tattoos. And when I saw a picture, I was hanging out with my niece. She's only 3 months, so we had her in like the baby carrier, like the front backpack thing. And I saw my tattoos and I was like, do I really want to be, maybe in the future, a mom, potentially, with a bunch of tattoos? Do I want to be an aunt with a bunch of tattoos? Like, I feel like tattoos and kids don't mix. You know what I mean? Like, and then I was going into, and I have a guest that I'd like to bring onto this podcast and talk all about this with, because I think we're kind of the same. We come from the same ideologies or like background in a way. And like being classy and being a parent, like you don't often see parents with, I mean, I guess you do. I just haven't seen parents with tattoos. Like the clientele at the place at which I work is more classy. It's more high end, I guess. But also it's like class is not really about having money. It's about, I guess it is. Is it classism? Like what is it rooted in? Is it rooted in dividing the classes? Like, I don't know. I'd like to research it, because I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, why do I feel, I mean, obviously I feel like I'm not classy enough because I have my piercings and I have my freaking nose ring and I have my tattoos, and I feel like it's pretty, don't need to see my brother walking by. Like I'm pretty stereotypical, like don't take this the wrong way. Not mentally ill, but like just different. Like anyone with money, old money, traditional values, where class is like a big word in their, it's very prominent in their vocabulary, I would be frowned upon and I would be dismissed. And that hurts, because I'm well behaved, I'm polite, and I think I'm classy. I just don't always look it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how else to explain this. Again, I want to get into it with this other guest. But it's just kind of put me through a loop. And I've thought about that for the last 2 years since I've been getting my tattoos. Is like, I love them when I get them, and I enjoy how it makes me like, I feel like I'm cooler. But then when I go out to eat with my family and we're at a older generation, higher end restaurant, I'm like, I don't fit in here. And when I was around my old friends and their family that was also like that, I'm like, I don't fit in here. Like, I don't feel authentic. That's also how I feel about shaving body hair. Like, and being what it means to be a woman or just be feminine in society as a woman. Like, being completely shaved. Like, what? I like the fact that I can see the way that my body hair grows in. And I like that I'm so fucking proud of myself for being there for myself at 17 when everyone was like, what are you doing? As I stopped shaving, like, that was huge for me to do. And I congratulate myself and pat myself on the back because it's definitely made me stronger. And like, cheers to me, because who the fuck does that? And I'm very proud of myself. But like, yeah, this is who I am. Like, I want to be comfortable and I want to be authentic, and I don't want to feel like I can only be one thing, which I also want to talk about as like classiness. Like, is it refined? And why do I feel like I'm less beautiful when I'm not classy in the way that they want me to be? And like, it's very refined, and it's probably rooted in racism, which is also very interesting and something to definitely look into. And is it brainwashing? And does classiness, like, I mean, it's a spectrum, but does it devolve? Does it stop you from being authentic and having expression because you're just uniform? You know what I mean? Does it rob you of that? I just saw 2 butterflies fly together. It was very pretty. Just things to think about, man. My podcasts are a lot of thinking. And I still enjoy making them. And I hope to be more in tune in the weeks coming and just months coming, years coming, whatever future, and be more aligned and have more things to talk about. You know? But one of the reasons why I kind of stepped back from being so in tune with what was going on with the world was because it's like, I got to a point where I saw it more as a chore. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to read this manifestation book to live. I can just live, you know? And with manifesting and with being in the US, there's such a like hustle culture. And like, well, if you don't do it now, in the future, you might not get it. You know, if you don't work hard now, you might not get it in the future. If you don't do this now, blah, blah, blah. And I like to believe that everything I desire will come to me in good time. But I'm also like, how long is that going to be? Like, am I going to have to wait till I'm 40 to have XYZ? Because that's another 20 years, babe. Which will fly by in an instant. Which also, speaking of time, like, everyone is still a child. Mimi, drop that lizard. everyone is still a child. In the grand scheme of life, we're all children. Like, the only thing that separates us is time and, yes, experience, but like, and you can use this to have more compassion for others, like maybe for your parents, and I think I've mentioned this before, but everyone really is just doing their best with what they know, and you can't blame them for that. Not only are all of our paths different, but we're really all the same. We're really all interconnected, and we all have the same like level of struggles and tears and levels of severity and joy and depression and all of it. You know, we all experience that. So you could also use this to say the let them theory, which I talked about in another episode. Like, whatever people are saying is a reflection of them, not a reflection of you. How you respond is a reflection of you. And water off a duck's bath. You know, if somebody flicks you off the light because you had to cut over at the last minute, which seems like a jerky move, you have, obviously, you understand yourself because, oh my God, you didn't see that the lane was ending, you need to get over. But on the other hand, you could be the person that's flipping the other person off because you're like, look at this idiot who doesn't know how to drive and didn't see that the lane was ending. So it gives you more compassion for people. And just be love, be kind, have compassion for people, and know that you're not in it alone. Technically, in all of consciousness, we're all one. And we're all interconnected. And technically, you are alone because you only exist because of me. I only exist because of you. And we're literally one stream of consciousness branched out to a million things. It's kind of confusing if you don't understand where I'm coming from. I just saw the scepter with the two snakes around it, which is so interesting that we took that to be our, like, I think it's the Holy Cross symbol, like the hospital symbol. And it was based off of some messenger in biblical times or mythical times, I'm not sure. Anyways, that was a lot. And sometimes I just need to film it and not worry about what's going to come out, because it does. I think I get a little anxious about the dull points, or like the paused points in my videos. Not where I pause the video, but where I'm trying to think of something else to say, or like whatever. But I have to let that go because it's gonna be okay. So that's it. Peace and love. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one.